If you are the one who is starting the journey to prepare for UPSC civil service examination, if you are the one who is about to start reading the Hindu or the Express or Yojana or Kurukshetra, if you are the one who is yet to read your NCRTs and start making your notes, I can very well understand that how difficult it is going to be for you to understand that in what all dimensions and with what all considerations you have to read the editorials in everyday newspaper. Hi, I am Raj Malhotra. We have our center in Chandigarh, in Delhi and Indore. And today in this video, I'm going to tell the beginners that how you can understand and make notes from a given article on day-to-day basis, and I will also tell you that to what an extent you have to use these articles for your preliminary exam, for your mains exam, as well as for your interview. So today in the Hindu newspaper, there is an article about understanding the delimitation exercise. Now, if I understand that what exactly is to be covered from the perspective of prelim exam, from the perspective of mains, as well as interview, then only I am the one who is making a serious effort. So here it is. Let's first understand the objective facts which will help me in the prelim exam. And what I'm going to discuss in this video is all based on the same article that we are referring to from today, that is 7th of Feb 2024, the Hindu newspaper. So first of all, there is delimitation, the term itself. Now, what is the meaning of delimitation? It is fixing the number and boundaries of Lok Sabha and State Assembly constituencies in which the seats for the SCs and STs are included, which are based on population data. Now let's take an example. If I say today that this is my India, my country, my nation, this is India, and India has a population of, let's say, 100. Fine. For these 100 people, we have to choose 10 members of parliament in Lok Sabha. So what I will do, I will divide India into 10 equal constituencies from where I will choose or elect one member of parliament. That is why we say in India we have single member constituencies. Single member constituencies. From each constituency, only one person will be elected. As many of the people as they want, they can contest the elections. Somebody can contest it from a party ticket. For example, somebody is contesting from BJP, from Congress, from some regional party, or even independent candidate supported by no party. But at the end, only one person will be elected. So, while we make these constituencies, let's say for 100 people in India, there are 10 MPs. So, we are going to create 10 constituencies. So, the effort here will be to keep the size of population near equal. Right? So if it is 10 in one constituency, it can be 9 in another constituency, and it can be 11 in the third constituency. But it cannot be that in one constituency there is only one voter who is electing one member of parliament, and in some constituency there are 25 people who are choosing or electing one member of parliament. So the work of the Delimitation Commission, the role or function of the Delimitation Commission is to fix the numbers and boundaries of the constituencies. How many constituencies will be there and what will be their geographical area, right? This is first thing. Then for prelim exam, there is a constitutional provision, Article 82 and 170. This is for parliament, this is for state legislature. This is for parliament, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. This is for state legislature, Vidhan Sabha or Vidhan Parishad, assembly or the council. So this tells us that there must be readjustment in the constituencies after each census. Every 10 years we go for the counting of population, that is census. So on the basis of this census, we should now understand that is there a need to change the size of the constituencies, the area, the boundary of the constituencies or not? Because obviously yes, every 10 years the population will increase. When the population increases, we have to readjust the constituencies. The third thing, frozen seats. Now what is this concept of frozen seats? So delimitation based on the 1971 census up to 2026, it has been now frozen. What it means, that what was the population in 1971, that population has been taken as the base population, and on the basis of that population, unless we get the figures of the census which will be carried out after 2026, that means it will be 2031. Census happens every 10 years. So it was in 2001, it was in 2011, it was to be in 2021, but because of the pandemic COVID-19, this could not be carried out. So now when it will be carried out, after this there will be readjustment of constituencies. Otherwise, the number of seats in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha as well as the state legislatures stand freezed. Now what it means, it is done to incentivize the population control. Let's take an example. There are three states, X, Y and Z. Now the X state has 10 seats, Y state has 10 seats and Z state has 10 seats. Now the state X, it performs very well when it comes to population control. In this state, what happens, there are 10 seats each for all these states, and in this state the population was 1000, in this state the population was 1500, and in this state it was 1700. But in the coming 10 years, this state managed well, the people were educated, they were oriented towards the family planning, and the population in 10 years increased to 1250. Whereas in the state where it was 1500, it increased to 2000. But in this state where it was 1700, it increased to 5000. Now there is a population explosion. The state or the people here did not understand, or they did not try to understand, that with the increase in population there will be additional burden on the resources. So in case now, going by the number of people, we increase the seats for Z state, we give them more states in Lok Sabha, they will become more powerful in Lok Sabha, they will have more say in Lok Sabha, they will get more bills passed for their state, they will get more funds for their state. And in this way, what we ended up doing, the state or the people who did not care for the growth and development of India in the lines of the idea of sustainable development, we incentivize them. They increase the population and we increase their seats. So that means the states which performed better, that they try to control their population, we basically ended up punishing them. They did not get more seats, and then they will get less budget because they have less members in parliament. So to keeping this in mind, we basically introduce the idea of freezing the seats. Now the exercise, as I told, has been postponed because of pandemic. So these are some of the important facts for pre. For mains and interview, there are few concepts in this article like federal and democratic principles. Now, are you aware of these words, like what is a federal system? Obviously, yes, many of us will be very familiar with the words like democratic setup or principles, but what is federalism? What is unitary system? What is quasi-federal? If you are not aware of these terms, then trust me, you need to first read your NCERTs very carefully, and at Raj IAS, we teach NCERTs as a separate course in a very integrated manner, where we empower the students to understand all these terms, so that when you read the newspapers, you are aware of the basic concepts and you feel more comfortable, more confident, and the preparation becomes something that you can do with much ease and comfort. So for knowing the details of this NCERT course, you can register on the link given below, right? Now, federal and democratic principle. So there is disadvantage to southern or smaller states. Like for example, the redistribution based on current population might favor populous states like Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. They have huge population, potentially violating the federal principles and causing disenchantment. UP will have more seats in Lok Sabha, and Kerala for that case will have very less seats. As I said, Kerala controlled population and their seats will decrease. UP did not control population and their seats will also increase. This is injustice. In federalism, the state should have near equal representation, but here it will go against the very spirit of federalism, right? rewarding population control. So by freezing the seats, as I've already explained, we have rewarded the states who have controlled their population. If we talk about international practices, in the United States itself, there the seats in the House of Representatives have been now frozen. There is a cap on the seats that on the basis of 1913. Since 1913, the seats have been capped. In EU, there is an idea of digressively proportional representation in the EU Parliament. Now, what it means? As I said, that either you can do something like this, that more population, more seats, or less population and more seats. What you will do in this digressively proportional representation, you will give little more powers or more say to the minorities or the states where there is less population. So digressively proportional representation is where the states or the entities with less number of people in them get little extra share in the voting or in the democratic exercise. So these are the two examples that this article talks about. Now when we talk about the solutions when it comes to your questions in the mains or in the interview, so what we need to understand, there should be a balancing principle. We need to reconcile democratic and federal principles. Now how to reconcile them? By capping the Lok Sabha seats, by maintaining them at the current 543 seats, we preserve the existing state representation by upholding federalism, that the number of seats in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha remains the same, particularly in Lok Sabha. But what we can do, we can increase the seats in the state assembly. We can increase the number of seats in the state assembly, proportionally increasing the number of MLAs, so that the democratic principles can be addressed. At the same time, what we need to understand, local governance is more important, the grassroots democracy. So talking about panchayats is more important rather than talking about increasing the seats in Lok Sabha, right? So in this article, it is emphasized that the local governing institution should be given more powers. Continuing with mains and interview, there is federalism and representation. So you can be asked the question, discuss the potential violation of federal principles and the importance of balanced representation, drawing upon international examples. Then there can be a question like population control and incentives. Analyze the policy of freezing seats based on 1971 census and its effectiveness in incentivizing population control. Then Delimitation Commission's role. Explain the Commission's composition, functions and challenges in ensuring a fair and balanced delimitation exercise and alternative solutions. Propose and critically evaluate alternative solutions beyond the one suggested, considering their feasibility and potential implication. Now, if you are a one such candidate who has already started preparing and you believe that you have read NCERT, you have read Lakshmikant, I invite you to write answer to these questions for your mains, and if you want, you can upload them in the comment section and I will get them evaluated from my team and give you feedback here itself. So it is going to be a very wholesome kind of an exercise. For interview, additionally, be prepared to discuss your stance on the ideal solution and defend it against potential counter arguments. Are you in favor of increasing the seats or not, and why? Then demonstrate your understanding of the complex interplay between federalism, democracy and population dynamics in the context of delimitation. Show awareness of international practices and their potential applicability to Indian context. These are very important things. Now, my team has prepared these 5 questions with their answers. We will upload them on our Telegram channel. I will upload them on my Twitter X handle and you can solve them there as well. So these are the 5 questions on these topics, on the topic of the article that we have covered today. I hope you like this, and for details you can visit our website or you can ping on the number given below. Best of luck.